This video is recorded on location at LA Mood Comics and Games. Hello and welcome to Game 1 between Will playing Blue-White Control and Dylan playing White Aggro. Will plays the Temple of Enlightenment and keeps the card on top. Dylan plays the Plains and follows it up with a Soldier of the Pantheon. Will puts on an island and passes. Dylan puts on a Plains and attacks for 2. He then plays a Judge's Familiar. Will lays down a Plains. Dylan then attacks for 3. Will plays a Hallowed Fountain. Dylan puts down a third land. He then attacks for 3. Will just passes the turn. Dylan attacks for 3. Dylan then plays the Precinct Captain. Will casts Supreme Verdict, gaining Dylan a life. Dylan plays a Fiend Slayer Paladin. Will then targets it with the Last Breath. Dylan plays a Precinct Captain followed by a Judge's Familiar, which meets a Syncopate by Will. Will puts on a Plains and casts a Jace, Architect of Thought. He then uses Jace's -2 ability and reveals an Elspeth, a Supreme Verdict, and a Hallowed Fountain. Dylan separates the Elspeth, and then Will takes a Supreme Verdict. Dylan attacks a Precinct Captain into Jace. Will casts a second Jace and uses his -2 ability. He reveals a Temple of Silence, a Dissolve, and a Temple of Deceit. Dylan separates the Dissolve, and Will takes the lands. Will then plays an untapped Hollow Fountain. He then casts the Last Breath, which is met with the Brave the Elements. Dylan attacks Will for 2, getting himself a Soldier. He then plays a second Precinct Captain. Will +1s Jace. He then plays a Supreme Verdict. Will plays a Temple of Deceit and keeps it at the bottom. Dylan puts on a 4th land and passes. Will puts on a Temple of Silence and keeps it on top. He then +1s Jace. Dylan plays his 5th land and casts an Archangel of Thune. At the beginning of the end step, Will casts a Sphinx Revelation for 4. Will plays a Detention Sphere on the Archangel. He then plays a Temple of Deceit, keeping the card on top. He then +1s Jace. Dylan puts on his 6 Plains and then casts a second Archangel of Thune. This time it's met with a Syncopate for 2. Will plays a Mutavault and +1s Jace. Dylan puts on a 7th land and casts an Elspeth, which is met with a Dissolve. Will puts the card at the bottom. At the beginning of the end step, Will casts Sphinx Revelation for 4. Will +1s Jace. He then plays a Mutavault, then attacks with the other one. Dylan puts on a Plains and then passes. Will +1s Jace and attacks with his Mutavaults. In response, Dylan casts a Celestial Flare, which is met with a Dissolve. Will scries the card to the bottom. Dylan casts a Soldier of the Pantheon. Will ultimates Jace. He gets a Heliod, God of the Sun from Dylan, and an Elspeth from his own deck. He uses Elspeth's +1 ability. He then attacks with both Mutavaults. Dylan blocks one of the Mutavaults with the Soldier of the Pantheon, taking 2 from the other one. Dylan puts on another Plains and passes. At the beginning of the end step, Will activates Heliod. He then casts the Detention Sphere, not naming anything. This gives Heliod enough devotion, so he attacks with the team. Then, he uses Elspeth's +1 ability. Dylan plays a Soldier of the Pantheon. He doesn't see a way out though, so he scoops, giving Will the win. Remember to like and subscribe for more Friday Night Magics coming your way.